This broadcast contains content that may be considered offensive to sensitive individuals. At times, you may also view footage that is slightly out of focus, underlit, overexposed, and audio that wasn't properly leveled at the time of recording. The executive producers have invested hundreds of hours into the creation of this program, and we challenge you to conceive a concept that addresses the problems that may have been improperly nurtured by the culture of hip-hop. Viewer discretion is advised.
The video you are about to see contains some scenes with explicit language. Parental discretion is advised. Thank you.
Joe.
Blackula.
You are now rocking with the originators. That Al Capone, that Frank Nitti, that Tony Ocado, Sam G. Connor, Fluky Stokes, that Willie Lord, that Jeff Ford, you know Larry Hoover, that Joey Lombardo. Yeah. The original Chicago gangsters. You know what time it is. You are now rocking the best. We are now live in effect. Changing your dial, show some respect. I rip the shine, not a Chirac. We on some history up in this piece. Professor with flow, watch our IT. Taking it back, way back. And I ain't talking about just rap. Videos, interviews, real talk, Chicago news. Still stay, trendsetter, Teflon up to the core. You can tell what we about. We step your foot up in our house. And once you done watching this, go line and check Chicago Cookout. We own, yeah, we own. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway shows. We own, yeah, we own. So tuned in to get tuned out. You know what to do now. We own, yeah, we own. We own, yeah, we own. We own.
Joe.
Blackula.
Are artists really doing what they want to do creatively, or have they compromised their true forms of self-expression to do what they feel and think will possibly generate an income?
I believe there's three sides to this answer.
All right.
True artists that stay true to their form, they're doing what they want to do. Again, backtracking to, you got people like people like, who else is doing what they want to do? The Erykah Badu's, the India Ari, who doesn't really get much credit for, she's a lyrical beast. Like, I'm sorry, everybody's on Beyonce's case, and I'm a part of the Beehive too, but India is, I could have to say, my #1 artist because she stays true to form. She tells a story. She says what she wants to do, and she's a lyrical beast. Like, every note is perfect. Everything is beautiful that comes from her. So people like that, I believe they stay true to the form. And then you have other people who have kind of gone off track because the music world is changing. And they're trying to reinvent themselves and they want to do something that's hot. Like, I was watching SWV Reunited, and they tired of singing the stuff they used to sing. They want to do what's hot. They want something new, something exciting. So, they want to make a buck. They hurting. Lily got a grandbaby and kids at home. They need stuff. And then there are others who just do what it is, that they gonna do what's hot. They don't even try to find any creativity inside of themselves to do it. Or let's take another to a fourth part. There are some who think that the norm and what's hot is their creativity. They think that they're being creative by copying somebody else, which is ridiculous, but common sense ain't so common.
That's not what an artist does. That's what an entertainer does. An artist does whatever the fuck he want to do. An entertainer does what's needed to eat to do, which goes back to the Frank Sinatra, Spears-esque phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? An artist, he gets an idea and he gets it out. An entertainer gets an idea and run it past people to ask him how he can best execute it so it can be consumed by the masses so he can eat. Does that make any sense? Or an entertainer watches to see what's hot and kind of rides that. And if he's a good entertainer, like Michael, he'll eat everybody alive doing it because he know I can do anybody better than him. If that makes any sense. So to answer the question, an artist does not have the capacity to do that. But an entertainer, that's how he's able to eat.
I think that artists who are looking for a deal do what they think will get them the deal. And I think that some artists subscribe to the notion of once I get on and once I play this game, then I can make the music that I'm really trying to make. And I don't necessarily know if that's the right idea, because I think that if you are true to yourself, if you make music to really put out a message, then you have to put out the message that you're really trying to put out. You know, and you know, if you need to do a song over here that doesn't really align with what you're believing, then you know, if you're about the money, you know, congratulations, you just got you a check. But if you're about making music to make a statement, I don't know if you can really conform to what the industry wants you to do, you know. And you know, I hear some guys that are, you know, trying to make a way for themselves, and you know, it's like I hear what you're saying and it lines up with what's out there, but I don't really think that that's you. You know, that doesn't sound like, you know, when we have conversations, it doesn't match up with what you just put on this track. So, you know, I get it that you're trying to make a name, you're trying to get paid, but at what expense are you doing that, you know?
Some people are, some people not. You know, the most popular people are making really what they want to make because it's selling. Like, let's say for instance, I hate to keep using him as an example right now, but he's hot. Chief Keef, he does drill music. I don't think Jimmy Iovine's gonna say, hey Chief Keef, stop doing what made me sign you and do something different so you could fall off of having the fan base that you have. No, music depends on your fan base. If you're doing your type of music and your fan base loves it, then that's who you perform for.
So a majority of the artists are doing whatever they think will generate that income, right? What they're doing is they're trying to do whatever's hot so that they can be that one-hit wonder, get a quick few $100,000 and that's it. And buy them some drugs and go to jail like everybody else, right? Get shot or something and end up in the papers, right? But then you have those artists that really could care less about, you know, conforming. I don't care to be on Hot 97 or 92.3 or none of those stations. I don't care for all of that. I got a big internet-based following. My internet-based following, if you hit my YouTube, I got 25,000 or 100,000 listeners on YouTube checking me out all the time, right? So why do I care if I'm being played in this city? Eventually this city's gonna catch up to me. And they're gonna follow me because everybody's demanding me, and when I come to the show to do local performances in that town, I'm packing it in with 400-500 people that's trying to see me and that's paying to see me. That's literally paying to see me because of my internet swag, you know what I mean? So it don't matter. You know, in the end, you know, skip a radio, skip trying to conform if you can. Now, if all you know is conforming and that's what you do, then, you know, so be it. That may be your forte. You conformed in school because you had to be a part of the crowd. You conformed at work because you wanted to kiss the boss ass to get ahead. You conform in front of your friends because you're a yes man. And now you conforming in music because you want to do whatever it takes that's going to get you on. Some people are just built like that.
Unfortunately, more of us than not are looking to take care of our lifestyle, take care of what it is that we do. And it takes money to do that. And oftentimes people do what they need to do in order to get paid. However, the other side of that is that if we were able to separate the art form from the business, we would be in much better shape than we are now. Because it takes a lot of information, it takes a lot of energy to be an artist. But it takes even more to be a businessman or a business person, to be able to take care of all of the other things that go on inside of the business. Someone has to do the entertainment, someone has to do the business aspect. Because yeah, I know you like what you do and you're really into your music, but if someone doesn't take care of the business, then you will like your music and what you do in the attic, because no one will hear you and you will not be able to make any money off of your passion and your purpose. So it's important to see if you can get the two to line up as closely as you possibly can, because if not, then you'll end up being a prostitute, just doing what you need to do in order to get the money that you need to have so that you can just maintain.
It's all about money, man. It's all about getting that paper. You know, people are going to do what they need to do to get that money. And if they feel, and they justify it by saying it's going to put myself and my family in a better position. So, no, people do anything for the money nowadays. People say, you know, people make a rap song about washing clothes at the laundromat. I mean, it can be anything. If it is going to sell and make them money, they'll do it.
Capitalism has that much of a strong hold on the music.
Yeah, capitalism has a super strong hold on the music. It's all about the money. And when you think about corporate America, though, I mean, it's all about cutting the costs and making more money, raising that bottom line. You know, even if they got to cut people when they don't have to cut people, or, you know, market in a different way. You know, it's all about getting more and more money, more. I got to make more. Okay, we did good. We got to do better next quarter. We got to increase the bottom line. Everything's about money. So rappers will do anything for money nowadays. I mean, they'll say anything. They'll be as vulgar as you want. You know, they can be, to get the sale and to get a quick buck.
Do you think we're at the point, man, where they would take a check from somebody? Let's say if somebody paid, would you think we at the point now where artists would take a check to say something that they know is wrong?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just think about it. Even though that's the hood, right? Even it's the hood. The reality of the hood is, yeah, there's drug dealing going on. There's killing going on. There's everything they rap about going on, but to say it over and over again. And the sad thing about rappers who say, well, I'm just reporting what's really going on. Yeah, you are. But we all know I was blessed. I grew up in the inner city. I was blessed to have two parents. But we all know people who didn't have that. It was an inordinate amount of influence from the music industry, from what they see on TV. So these rappers who rap this stuff, who come out the hood, who may not have had parents, know that type of influence that their rappers coming up had on them. So to continuously do stuff that you know is gonna have influence, and then say, well, I'm just reporting, or I'm just saying the real, I'm just speaking the real. Yeah, you are, but you're trying to profit off it also. You know what I mean? You're trying to profit off that same level of ignorance, because you know, if everybody in the hood had responsible parents that monitor the music they listen to, you wouldn't be able to say that stuff and do the things that you do. So they're profiting off the reality of the hood by just saying it over and over again. You know what I mean? I got money and I got women, and it's just, you know what I mean? So yeah, they're doing, but at the same time, you can't, I'm not trying to put all the blame on rappers. I can't do that. You know, it's the society we live in, the industry, because the rappers have somebody that's over them. So when you really look at it, you can't really attack the rapper. They have a part to play in it. They have a responsibility to write better lyrics. But who's owning these companies? Who's owning these distribution companies? Who's owning these things? You know, the record labels that's putting this stuff out there for money also. So them are the people who hold the most blame. These people who own these companies, the CEOs of these companies, we don't know the names to. these people who run this stuff, that's the people who, you know, because you know we just come in and make the music, but we don't run the distribution. We may get a record label, and everybody got a record label, but we don't run the big distribution companies that put this stuff out here and control the images of people. Them are the people who that you really blame. But yeah, the young rapper man out the hood who don't have no opportunity and look at this as a way out. You know, that's his way out. So he's gonna say what he can, what he need to say to get out, or to get money, or to be able to shine, as we say. You know what I mean? Ride back through the hood in a Bentley. You know what I mean? That's you know, that's a dream, you know, of some people. But do the rappers have some blame in it? Yes. You do have some responsibility because you're rapping to the same people that you came up with. You came up with people, you may have came up that same way in a broken home. So you're rapping to these other youth that come up in broken homes, and you're influencing them. So you have to think about that. They hold some responsibility also, but the main responsibility is on the people who run this thing.
Yes and no. So you have the true artist where that answer is going to be yes. And that's because with the ones like who aren't true artists, who just want to get heard, they want to get play. So you got to do what you got to do to get the airplay. They make their sound the same so that it can mix in with other people, whoever's hot. So if my song sounds like Future, then when it comes in for a DJ to play it, it's going to blend in well with Future's song. So then therefore you're forced to hear me. Whereas if I choose my own sound and come up with my own intent, content, and lyrics and stuff like that, that's totally different. I'm playing this. That don't match this. I can't go from this to this. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna put too much work on the DJs to push the button. I'm gonna put some DJs off with that one. But it's gonna put too much work on the DJs to try to blend and try to work in how to put the songs together, match the songs together. So then you got other people that are like, well, if you want to get money, this is what you got to do. And then in some situations where the true artist has been doing what they are true to themselves all this time, not making any money, hey, that gas bill got to get paid. ComEd got to get paid. I need some food for my daughter, you know. So reality sets in. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do for right now, and then when it gets later, you know, maybe then you can slowly introduce who you are. But then you run the risk of alienating, because now who am I to believe? Are you this person or were you this person? Because when you came out, you sounded like that, but now you sounding like this. And it's not like when our generation, when we were coming up, it was okay because we knew pretty much you had to do what the record label said to get on. And then the second album is when you got to see who the artist really was. I don't know if today's generation is accepting of that. I think it's like, if this is who you said you were, nigga, you need to stay who that nigga was. I'm not trying to see this. I'm trying to see that. When you get back to that, I'll believe you hot again and we'll be fucking with you again. But until you go there, I'm done.
So I go back to that. They are not doing what they want to do creative. Not most of them. There are a few. And it could hurt you or it could help you. I think sometimes too much creative control is not good. But I think that a lot of artists have lost creativity. You know, we talked about it earlier, or we see it in unoriginal music or unoriginal concepts, and I just think that it's a money game, you know, and whatever is hot, people are gonna do it, you know, to make a quick buck. Who really cares about longevity? I mean, nobody talks about being around forever. You know, nobody talks about, I want my music to live on. You don't hear statements like that anymore. I know there was a time when people wanted that. You know, people want their music to be, you know, listened to. We don't as a culture, as a hip hop culture, I don't think we make music not a lot, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people don't make music to stand the test of time. And I don't think we approach music the same way R&B singers or country artists or maybe even gospel artists. We don't approach it the same way. We take a situation that's happening now and we try to benefit off of it right now. Rather than be creative, it's safe. You know, when you do something like that, you're guaranteed to sell a few copies, maybe not a lot, but you don't want to be considered a flop. I think that if we took an approach of, you know, I'm just going to be me and express myself the way that, you know, I'm going to express myself, if people took more risk, that I think the reward would be greater. I think that we would have a better quality of music if we did that. But everybody's basically playing it safe. And a lot of people are not creative because nowadays you don't have to be creative to make it in hip hop. All you need is a catchy slogan or a catchy one-liner or a quotation that's hot right now or an instance that happened. I remember that they had one lady who did I ain't got time for that. This happened not too long ago. They took it, made a dance song off of it. Yeah, so I mean, you know, this person, or there are people that occupy valuable space on Billboard to an artist who's really trying to make some music and be creative and express itself to give the people something that they've never witnessed or just something just from that person's point of view. And they're taking up quality space with hundreds of the same song remade over and over again. So I think that artists are not approaching it in a creative way, but they're just basically, you know, just following, they just jump on the bandwagon, and creativity is dead.
I think it goes kind of both ways. And I say that because there have been artists like back in the day, you had Mariah Carey who, when she was coming out into this business, she had to conform, and then once she had made a place for herself, then she was able to be creative in her image and with the songs that she produced. Christina Aguilera, the same thing. But I think nowadays, you know, the more raunchier it is, the better it sells. The more sexy it is, the better it sells. So I think that people are just really just, if you want to call that creatively putting out garbage and calling it music, and it's okay because that's what sells.
Some artists are. Some are changing, some are compromising because they feel the need to compromise to make it. I don't blame them because if you've been working on something and you don't see anybody gravitating towards it and you feel, oh, this is my avenue for more people to listen to me, I got to do more commercial stuff, you know, to get more ears and stuff. If that's the sacrifice you have to make, that's the sacrifice you have to make. The thing about it is it's not everything we like about our jobs. No matter what job you're in, it's not everything you're gonna like about it. You know, you might not like your boss at this particular time, you might like your boss later, you might not like your shift, but you gotta do it. So it's good to be creative and stuff, but it's also good to keep your ear to what people are listening to, what people are accustomed to, what people are comfortable in listening to, because there is a formula for hits. I know people say, oh no, but there is a formula. There always is a formula for making good music. And if you find different and various formulas that work, then you'll get some traction out of it. Another thing is a lot of artists that come with their own unique styles. Some of those styles are not, people aren't familiar with them yet. So if we didn't hear Twist on the radio continuously to understand this Twista style, and you just heard him randomly one day on the radio, you probably could be like, what's this? I can't hear this guy, you know? But the fact that we've heard Twista like he's part of the cultural fabric of Chicago, even if he's saying stuff and you don't understand it, you still vibe with it, you know? So, style, it's kind of hard for at times the public to just adjust to your style and gravitate towards your style. At times you have to meet them halfway. That's why some people will grasp your style so you have like a heavyweight that they understand on your song. So if you have somebody who people are very familiar with and he's featured on your song and you're on your song, then people, it's kind of like, oh, people start to understand, you know, who or familiarize themselves with your style. So, are artists compromising? Yes. Should they? To a certain extent. Not all the way though. You should still, eventually it's to lead people to you know, but meeting people halfway is important. So I understand if you have to be commercial and stuff. That's what pays the bills.
I feel like, yes, some artists have compromised. In order to get with a major label that can take your talent for where it is, you have to do what you have to do to get in the door. So therefore, yes, you can have some creative sense, but on the other hand, it's going to be polished. So that way it can promote, it can, you know, expand, it can take, you know, it to the next level. The difference, like we were talking about earlier, of our young men listening to Chief Keef and industry rappers. They said that we applaud them for, you know, having the ability to get to the next level to tell our story, you know, nationwide. However, I was watching Lala Anthony where Poe, you know, wanted to just be her. However, she was very disappointed because when she signed with a label, they end up telling her, you know what, you're gonna have to do it this way, and that way. And so, you know, she goes back, she says, Lala, you know, why? You know, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. She was like, well, you know what, you have to do what you have to do right now. You know, just go ahead and go with the flow. You can, you know, add a little bit of you, but then when you get in deep, then you can make the changes that you need to make. So you see Beyonce, she took it to another level with her last album. She did it on her own without anybody telling her how she should do it, the way she should do it, so she could, and it hit. So there are people that compromise. There are rappers that compromise who they are to sell $1. But as long as you keep the mission at hand of what you're doing it for, then you do it to, some people will say you fake it till you make it. And once you make it, then you know what I'm saying, bring that positive influence in a creative way to where is it, you know, impacts, you know, our young men and women.
Had to get this off my chest, cause niggas got to feel how I feel.
This broadcast contains content that may be considered offensive to sensitive individuals. At times, you may also view footage that is slightly out of focus, underlit, overexposed, and audio that wasn't properly leveled at the time of recording. The executive producers have invested hundreds of hours into the creation of this program, and we challenge you to conceive a concept that addresses the problems that may have been improperly nurtured by the culture of hip-hop. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, that's exactly what they done. You know, back in the day, artists had to really go up against the labels, man, to get what they call creative control. Stevie had to do it because before Stevie did it, Motown was doing it for him. Marvin had to do it. A lot of the
artists that wanted to make social statements had to go up against their labels in order to do so. But another thing is what the record labels did back in the day. They had what they call artist development. You know, they bring an artist onto a label, man, and keep them on the label. Even though they may have been putting out music, I'm not gonna say shitty music because it was all good music, but just music that wasn't generating income. You know, and they bring these artists along, and you know, and then when these artists finally made it, you know, they'd have fresh artists come in and do production for them on other, you know, so these artists, a lot of times, the average person that's not into music doesn't understand how it works. You know, they think that every song that an artist sings or plays or comes up with, that they created themselves. It's not true. You know, the label gets around these artists and has people come in and do production for them, keeping them fresh and hot, you know what I mean, and on top. Yeah, but that's what they've sold it. You know, first of all, they didn't have anything to offer artistically to begin with. See? This was a marketing ploy by the label at its inception. Miley Cyrus, her daddy famous, right? Yeah, daddy pulled a few strings. Y'all gonna make my daughter famous too. I know she's a goddamn bimbo. But we're gonna put some producers around her. We're gonna make her take off her clothes, you know, and you know, she ain't got no artistic ability. But now she makes millions of dollars, man. These little kids love her, man. And you think these goddamn parents, there we go again, the parents. If parents would stop taking their kids to see this fool, you know? So yeah, in answer to your question, hell yeah.
I think that a lot of it is compromise. I don't think that anybody is naturally inclined to do some of the things and say some of the things and perform some of the things that go on. I think that the music industry directs that and says, you know, this is what's happening out here, and if you want to make it, you know, and if you want my backing, then, you know, you got to promote that, you know. And again, it's about the dominant culture controlling, you know, our culture.
What do you mean by that when you say what was the phrase you said again? The dominant culture? The
dominant culture controlling the that? African culture.
What is dominant? What do you mean by
the people that are in charge, okay. The people with the money, okay. You know, the millionaires and billionaires that own the record companies and labels and studios, and the promotion people, you know, that own, that have access to the airways and what gets played, you know, and how people view other people. They are typically not the people that live in my community. They are typically not the people that look like me, you know. They are typically people of a different persuasion who want to control what goes on so that that next generation can be exposed to what they want them to be exposed to.
Why? Why do you think they want to do that?
Because it's racism.
Really?
Straight up, pure and simple racism. Yes, it is. I'm gonna say it.
That's real kind of blood-curdling to think that someone would be that devious.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what I'm saying, and that's not new in this country. And if my young people would study their history and their culture, they would see that racism is ingrained so deep in this culture. And like I said before, every few years they restructure the racism to make it more effective and have an impact on a larger group of people. And of course you want to impact your young, you know, because they're up and coming. So you want to make sure that you don't have a group of people that are going to be community minded You know, so if you can impact them to do something else than to be about the community, then yeah, you want to start young.
Are you familiar with the COINTELPRO?
Yes, I am.
So it's almost as if they're using the music as counterintelligence. I mean, kind of like to sabotage the youth, maybe.
Yeah, the music along with other things, certainly.
What's the other thing?
The drug culture. You know, we still don't grow or manufacture any drugs in this country, and yet we are the biggest users. The food deserts in our communities. We again don't grow or manufacture anything, so we only subside off of what they bring into the community and allow us to have. So it's, you know, it's the total package. It's the culture, it's the music, which is a part of our culture. It's the food, it's the drugs. So yeah, they all go hand in hand. Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
Food too.
Absolutely.
How with the food?
Absolutely the food, because you don't get the nutrients that you need to live a productive life. You're not exposed to the fresh fruits and vegetables. You're exposed to a lot of packaged and processed food, which we now know is no good for you. I was a vegetarian 50 years ago. Now, you know, that has become popular and people are more aware of what they're eating, and that's good. But there's still, in our community by and large, you can't get that because, you know, there's no places to buy fresh fruit and vegetables. Yeah, there are farmers markets now in the summer, but what do you do in the winter? You know, there are few markets where you can get fresh fruits and vegetables. And, you know, the generations don't prepare food like my generation did. You know, your mother would cook greens once a week, you know, and make sure you ate them, you know. Right. So now, you know, it's the fast food, or it's what's packaged and processed. You know, it's too much meat. It's too much of the wrong meat. You know, it's highly seasoned, highly salted, processed foods that give us high blood pressure, diabetes, and all of the other diseases that we have. You know, so yeah, it's most definitely the food. And it has been the food. It has always been the food since slavery. It's been the food. You know, you remember in Roots that they served grits. You remember the brothers said, "Grits, dummy." You know, that was all that they gave. You know, they didn't give nutritious food. So it's always been the food.
Depends how big they are. Are they million plus? Are they on their second album? Are they on their third album? That's where it all changes, you know, because once they start seeing what people like about it, they're going to want to change it more and streamline it and put sugar in it, you know what I mean, and making Diet Coke out of it. So I think at first not, but later on they all fall in the trap. You know, some people don't even sound excited on their own songs, people on their like 10th album and shit, you know, that are like really big, you know.
Now with you being a music producer as well as a musician, have you ever felt the urge to ever, you know, change what you do in order to possibly, you know, quote unquote get on or get properly recognized?
I do like doing new shit, but that's just something that comes from me. You know, it's not a contrived external influence thing. Like no one's. I mean, people have asked me to do gospel songs, and I've done them. You know, but that was more for like, can I do it? Yes, I can. You know, but I'm reaching into other types of shit, electronic, drum, bass, jungle. You know, and but that's just because I like the shit. You know.
It's different types of artists, you know what I mean? I'm gonna say that, let them go, then I'm come back.
I'm talking about, then let's say rappers or artists that are recording studio material and putting it out. Now let's streamline it more then so that it's more narrow.
I'm saying though, cause you got like a person that's chasing a hit, and then you got a person that just got a message, or they got a way that they feel about music. Like, I listen to like Azalea Banks, not Iggy Azalea, but the black girl, Azalea Banks. And she do whatever she want to do. She got Latin infused music with EDM, and she's screaming on the track. And
well, let's just say for the most part,
things going on.
Let's take a broad look at the broader spectrum.
Yeah, you got like a Kendrick Lamar. Look at him. He not necessarily, you know what I mean, listen to his album. It was like content driven. He's not necessarily like chasing hits. So then you got like a Meek Mill that's maybe chasing a hit. I'm not saying he is, but maybe he's chasing a hit in the studio.
Or like a Young Thug, you know what I mean? Or something like that, where people have very creative. But I feel like sometimes putting them in that position made them more creative, made their music a little more, made it a little better kind of.
Which position?
Getting pushed in a position to compromise their old sound. Yeah.
What
to compromise their old sound, so it might have got them in an area where now they're making music that they probably never would have made, but it is better, you know. So
if you would have taken an overall, I'm just saying like Picaso, you kind of went in, you zoomed in, like to the micro.
Two Pacific micro artists.
I'm saying that's good. But I'm saying if you were to take a step way back,
overall,
just artists in general, even the independent artists coming up, maybe thinking I got to make this specific sound because this is what the radio playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that been going on for a while now. You know what I mean? Like even you take it back to 90s hip hop. You know, a lot of the sounds sounded similar. And then maybe it was the originator of this sound, but the independent artists or the artists that was coming up, they felt this, they had to copy off of Wu-Tang, or maybe, you know what I mean? They had to do a Wu-Tang type of beat just to get a love or whatever, you know what I mean? So I say it always went on. What's popular, when you're an independent artist, you thinking, man, I need to get on the radio, so I gotta make something that kind of fit right in the mix of what's playing. They're not gonna just mix my weird, don't sound like nothing on the radio song, just right in there. They're not gonna just do that. So I feel like that's the reason why people would compromise if they trying to chase a hit. You know what I mean? Instead of like a core base. Like you can have a core fan base of being different, and people like this different sound, or you really love this different sound and you believe in it, or you can just, try to chase that hit.
I think more artists do everything for income. That's not to say that they don't have a general love of what they're doing, but I still think they cater their stuff for possibly record sales or record spins, whatever it takes to line their pockets. Which is why I spoke earlier. I don't think you see a lot of rappers taking chances, which is one reason I like Kendrick Lamar with like looking at his last album. I don't think there's too many guys that could have went the way he did and pulled it off the way he did with the album To Pimp a Butterfly, which is why he is one of my favorite current artists, because he has decided he's not gonna be confined to a box. He's gonna put out what he, what he feels and how he feels it, and deliver it that way. I think he's probably in an ideal situation as far as label and whatnot, because they seem to have given him that creative freedom to do what he wants to do, or to try to deliver it the way he wants to deliver it. But by and large, no, I don't think they're. I think too many artists are afraid to really do what they feel. I think a lot of them try to stick with what they think will be successful.
Man, artists are compromising the hell out of everything that they was ever about. A lot of rappers, man, come out, man, tight jeans now. They wasn't wearing that in the hood. Tight shirts. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't wearing that in the hood. They whole style, they whole image, everything they saying. That wasn't the music they was doing in the studio when they was hungry, when they was grinding. They get that deal, man, and these labels is standing over their shoulders, man, telling them, man, you need to wear this. You need to put a record out like this. So, man, I think artists do a lot of compromising, man, just to get that money. And it's called the hustle, man. if I can't sell this, I gotta sell that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it. You know, I believe a true artist always stick to their guns. You know, and stick to doing the music that they actually believe in. But some artists, you know, believe, you know, in the hustle, you know what I'm saying? And the hustle is, since they not gonna buy this, I gotta sell that. At least till I get my foot in the door, till you know my name, and then I hit you up what I really wanna do. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's called the hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a few different ways you're gonna have to get into the game, man, and that's one of them. Sometimes you gotta do something you don't wanna do, just so people will listen to you.
I think most of them are doing what they think people wanna hear. I think that it's a small, select few people who can absolutely, that are absolutely doing what they wanna do, and only a smaller number of them are making money off of it. And I mean, if you're lucky enough to be able to do what you want to do and make money, man, you absolutely better consider yourself blessed at this point, man. In this day and age, I look at dudes like Kendrick Lamar. Man, I think he kind of is one of them guys that got away with doing what he wanted to do and was good enough that he's such a lyricist that his lyricism took him over to be able to do what he want to do and get paid and be recognized for it. I think that the talent, the lyricism, the ability to be a lyricist, it absolutely helps connect with a lot more people, you know.
So why do you think more people aren't doing more so what they want to do, or do you think at the root of it, everybody at this point, everybody just want to follow the next person?
I think if you have an art, man, you want to get paid. I don't think most of these kids is going into hip hop music. I think they love hip hop music, no doubt about it. Cause I see them walking down the street, man, no headphones, no nothing. They just talking, rhyming to themselves and rapping somebody else's music, man. I'm like, man, so I think they absolutely love the music, but they like the idea that I can do it and get paid. It's something I love to do and I can get paid off of it. And so when you have the ability to do it and do it well, you want to be compensated. You seeing other people being compensated, you want to get some of that chop, man. Break bread with me too, you know. And I think that go for any business, you know. I mean, or yeah, with any business that you jumping in, you want to be compensated, and so I think that's what they looking for. But you have, like, again, powers that be. You have all these different media outlets are owned by a small percentage of a small number of companies, Viacom and Clear Channel. You know, when I own Clear Channel and I own 80% of the radio stations, you know, how many of them people gonna be on there that I don't want on there? You know, how many people gonna be playing music that I don't want you to hear, you know? And so Viacom, you know, that's another one. These huge corporations, they have the influence to be able to say yay or nay. We don't want that, we want this, and that's what you have to conform to in order to get that money, you know? Yeah. Do you care about getting paid? I'm sure everybody care about getting paid, man. At the end of the day, you want to get some money, you know? And if you get money in other areas, then yeah, you can probably not care. You can go and say, I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be true to the game and just do what I do, but that ain't the majority, that's for sure. That's a small minority.
Wow. Jay-Z said it. He said if lyricism sold lyrically, he'd be Talib Kweli. So a lot of dudes are compromising what is true to them to make money, you know, and to get paid. You see that from a lot of other artists. Like today, controversy is sales. So you got people who, you know, are trying to get as much controversy. They're not working on their art. They're just trying to get as much controversy as possible so that they can be the next thing, you know, rather than creating their own lane. They see what somebody else has done and jump on that. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Nah, I think they're being compromised and they're doing what they think will generate an income. Because you can tell a lot of cats, what they spit about is not even built like that. You can tell it's like, it's not just coming from the heart. I'm like, certain cats that say they got these big old cannons that's flipping over cars and stuff.
half these cats don't even know how to hold a baseball bat. So it's like, man, are you serious? And it's like, and everything sound the same. That's how you know they just trying to, do things to keep up with the McCoys. It's nothing different. The only cat I can say right now that's out there different is that cat from New York, and his name is Joey Badass. He the only one right now, as far as East Coast, that sounded different from everybody else. Because 50 told you himself, a lot of the cats from the East Coast bite other cats. Even people from Chicago do the same thing. We'll support another place before we support our own. Then we sound like them. And all of a sudden, Chicago is so hot and on the map. We've been on the map. You know what I'm saying? But we had to get violent and reckless for people to notice that. And I was in a barbershop recently, and somebody was kin to Chief Keef. I don't know if she was lying or not, but she sure knew a lot about him. And she said he's not even like that. He only does that for the money. She said he nowhere like what he rap about. She kept pressing on it. And there was another guy there that said he was his cousin. I wish I knew her name, because I would have said her name. I'm sorry, but I would have said her name.
So what was your vibe on it, though? What was you thinking while she was saying that?
If that's his auntie, then I already felt that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this, man. If you was about the streets and stuff, you should know, okay, you in one game, but you can't be in one game, but in Chicago, not representing the other games. You know what I'm saying? That's just not, that's problems right there. And not saying I'm pushing gang violence and stuff. It's just the nature and the street ethics of things when it comes to stuff like that. If you from Chicago, you know it's a bunch of gang banging cats here, no matter how old, from all browns, and you just gotta show respect. You know what I'm saying? He's not able to go to certain neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, because of what he rap about and who he representing, what he claim he does. That it's just not right, man. I don't need to be rhyming about something looking over my shoulder. That's not right. I have kids, man. So your whole outfit got to change. And he has a family, so he got to really get it together, man.
Well, okay, and let me go back and say, yes, I will tell you that true artists, and I'll go say lyricists, they are truly doing what they want to do, because when they committed to what they wanted to do for a living, and again, like any other occupation, artists are doing what they want to do because it was about creativity in the first place. And they never did it for the money. They've got to make money to sustain themselves. Okay, like everybody with Maslow's, Maslow's theory of the basic needs, or what have you, food, shelter, psychology, self-actualization. We've seen the triangle and we know. Okay, but to the rapper or the entertainer, okay, they never had a soul to sell in the first place. Okay, that's why you'll see them quote unquote reinvent themselves or whatever like that. Very rarely do you see a entertainer become an artist. I only can think of one to this day, and I'll call him out, Everlast. Only because, to start with the House of Pain, where he insert here, we need a white rap group, whatever like that, until, okay, you know what, and then said, you know what, and then if you listen to that song, everybody plays, everybody eventually sings the blues, you see like that. He became an artist because he was no longer controlled by the money.
Whitey Ford sings the blues.
Oh yeah. So and when you look at, I look at him and say he's the only one that actually came back, because normally artists remain artists and entertainers remain entertainers. Okay. And don't knock him, whatever like that. But Puff Daddy was an entertainer. Music was simply a vehicle to get where he wanted. What do you say? Has anybody asked Puff if he's gonna make another album? No, because what he made was never really, it was music, but it wasn't art.
Right.
It's like tick that. And you're right, he invented the remix. Okay? Never would, so to say, Puff was never an artist. He promoted artists. Think about that, but never. So that's why when he got out of the music business, nobody ever asked, Puff, when you gonna drop another album? Who cares? But he's smart enough to know I'm a money maker, and all I needed this was to parlay this to other stuff. Okay? And so to answer your question, artists are doing art because that's what they do. Okay? Entertainers are gonna entertain, and the quality of the product is self-explanatory. And also the longevity of the careers. Because artists are going to do their thing and they're going to keep doing their thing. Because nobody can stop that because it came from here. You know, entertainers are going to do what their wallet tells them to do, which means that all bets are off. Put on a dress. You know, please. Yeah, Tay Diggs, I'm talking to you. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
At no point in his career, there was no reason at this point in his career to do that other than what? Kudos to, just because I saw the first clip the other day, kudos to Don Cheadle and his biop that he's doing on Miles Davis. Yeah, it's going to be very powerful, you know? So when I see stuff like that going on and the other stuff, and we want to go say, Nick Cannon, you make me puke. I'll just go and just say that for whatever, his project, Wildin' Out or whatever like that. I saw him on a Chase commercial the other day, and then somebody was like, and I was like, who is Nick Cannon? Like, where did he come from? And apparently he started at Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So again, we want to talk about Nick Cannon. Is he an artist? No, he's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you you got a stand-up comedy tour, but you're not a comedian?
Wow.
Remember but Showtime got behind it because MTV was behind it. So
he put out a rap CD and hitting a rapper as well.
And I'm not picking on Nick because he's making money. But again, let's separate, particularly in media, those who are artists and those who are entertainers. Unless, you know what I'm saying? Even in my deal, and even with the award shows, separate categories. I would have them sitting in separate sections. Artists over here, entertainers over here. Okay, and if you did that, it wouldn't be all blurred. You start to see because they dress differently, they speak differently, they carry themselves differently. See, artists, okay, are going to be there and going to be heartfelt. They're going to be very, very cerebral, going to be very, very self-reflective, okay? Entertainers going to have after parties. There's going to be arrests. You know, there's going to be... Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You understand specifically what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
It's almost like two sections. Because when you said it was two groups within the black community, the ones that know and the ones that don't know, I thought you were gonna say, and this is why I was separated in the awards, the black people and the niggas.
Jigaboos and wannabes.